And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching FYNTV.com. Listen, there's always something happening. If the background noise might be a little wind here, we're in downtown Blue Ridge. We have a jackhammer early this morning. But you know, that's okay with me in downtown Blue Ridge because I just call it America. We've got construction going on. We're going to have delivery trucks for all the beautiful restaurants, great restaurants, and the shops here at Sycamore Crossing. I am glad to be joined during the segment with Dr. Tidman. Dr. Tidman is one of the founding members of Riverstone Medical Campus, transforming healthcare in this area. Dr. Tidman, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I have to set just a couple ground rules. Well, Dr. Whaley's usually here, and I know I'm coming right off of the Al Smith dinner, and we can't roast Dr. Whaley, okay? Can we agree on that?
He assured me that this would be as painless as a flu shot, so.
He did? Okay. No, thank you for being here. And this segment is sponsored by the Georgia Cancer Research Specialist, and we appreciate that. Dr. Tidman, before we get in, tell me just a little bit about yourself, our subject for the day, as a founding member of Riverstone Medical, and what it means when we say transforming healthcare in this area.
Well, the Riverstone campus has created an area where we brought physicians locally together and from the cities to bring specialists up and make it convenient for our patients, plus get all the technology that they can get without going for long drives. So it's created a place where healthcare can be centered and collaborate with each other in a healthy fashion.
Well, when we talk about transforming healthcare in this area, it is important because this is a retirement area. Now, not that we don't have, people from here or children and things of that nature, but there's a large group of people that have retired here. And usually when you're looking for an area to retire in, healthcare becomes very high on the list of things that you need to make sure is available before you make that choice. Am I not correct?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest things that's happened up here is that we've become an area that's a destination. You know, we joke about halfbacks, people who lived up north, moved to Florida, got tired of the hot weather, and then moved halfway back. But this is an area people are choosing to live in because it's so beautiful and it's where they want to be. But part and parcel with that, they have to have good services.
Absolutely.
And healthcare is critical.
The subject this morning that we have picked out and that we want to discuss and move into is the topic of men's testosterone. Now, I feel there's that subject was picked out because most of my regular viewers know syllables. Once I go over 3, I start to fumble a little bit. So men's testosterone. Talk a little bit about that. Let's get that discussion going.
You know, it's a kind of a fun thing that I'll have a spouse bring their husband in by the ear and say, "This is not the man I married."
Oh, look. Go ahead.
And for men, when their testosterone level drops, it's a very slow, gradual loss. And it's so slow and gradual that a lot of them are not aware of it. But low testosterone can lead to depression. It certainly leads to sexual loss of libido, loss of function. And a lot of times the guys are just not particularly aware of it anymore. It's been so gradual. And the spouse will say, "This is just not the husband that I know." So if we test their testosterone level, we can find out where it is or not. And there are simple replacements for them, many inexpensive. There are a lot of people with wild ideas about what testosterone can and cannot do, and we could talk about that a little bit. But it's a very common problem because we're all living longer and parts of our organs no longer work right, and that's a critical one for men and women.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get past the visual of a wife dragging their husband in by the ear over low testosterone. I thought they just dragged him by the ear, period. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did I say that out loud? Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, am I in trouble?
You're in deep trouble.
Am I? I didn't know that. No, let me ask you this. So what are some of the things that when I say, and not to be silly, just in having fun, folks, but seriously, what are some of the things to watch for, some of the ages, some of the things to start you know, saying, hey, I need to talk about this, or I need to go to the doctor, and some of the things you can do to change that direction of low testosterone?
That's a good question, because one of the things that I talk about with particularly with my men patients, is just about engaging healthcare in general. You know, when you think about it, young ladies from the get-go are engaged with healthcare. They have birth control issues as a young gal, they have babies, they have follow-up for baby care, pediatrics, so they're engaged with my profession from a young age. Men, they get a sports physical, you know, turn your head and cough. Unless they break a bone, they don't see me until something goes wrong. And so for most men, they've lived their entire life with, you know, I'll get over it, it's a bruise, it's a scratch, I'm fine. And then when they get up into their upper years, unless they're really paying attention and checking on things can be going wrong, seriously wrong, and they're ignoring them. So it is good to open your eyes, talk to your friends and your loved ones about things that are going on with you, and ask yourself the question, is something not right? Am I feeling something wrong? Am I losing weight? Am I not sleeping right? Is my interest in life going away? Have I had a major event that I'm not coping with well? And that takes from being in a loving relationship or engaged with folks that will help you ask and answer those questions.
Well, I mean, so let me just carry that a little further. So, you know, folks, I am coming right off the Al Smith dinner last night, so every once in a while I have to get my jokes in, and you know, you're just going to have to accept that. Not joking, as this is a serious matter in men, that when you talk about, you know, the wife is bringing the husband in, that's when you see them. What can the wife start to say to the husband, or how can that discussion be at the house before they come in to start approaching that? What do you think there? I mean, how would the wife be able to approach that, or the husband and wife be able to approach that before they come see you?
Well, I mean, most honest relationships are going to engage at that level. And so just an openness to talk about those issues and talk about how you're feeling. You know, one of the other jokes that we use in medicine all the time is that so-and-so wouldn't know a feeling from a crescent wrench. So a lot of guys are
Was that funny? I'm so
Well, let me get the wrench out and I'll check here.
What a shot. I mean, I'll tell you what.
So,
I'm sorry.
So a lot of guys need to, you know, they need to be pulled out. They need to be asked,
Right,
you know, how you feeling? What's going on? And so to answer your question, how does the wife kind of get that going? Well, just start pulling those feelings out, making it okay to talk about it.
We're getting close to 9 o'clock. It is Blue Ridge, so we have the train. So what you're saying, the, you know, the feelings from a crescent wrench. It's the 9th inning and I'm watching the game, honey. I'll get with you in a minute. I mean, I don't realize anything's going on. Now they've come in and you have, what are some of the, what would you prescribe? What would you do where men are concerned, to turn that around? So let's talk about, the diagnosis, what you would prescribe, and, how men can.
All good healthcare starts with a good history. Most of low testosterone is in the history, but it's also a lab test. The follow up the lab test, you'd get the results and discuss treatment options. So your point is, how do you treat it? The least expensive, most sure way to do it, it's a shot, a regular shot, every 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes monthly. There are topical medicines that you can use. There are safety issues around these, but those are particular between the doctor and the patient, probably should be left into that part of the exam. But it's easily treatable, and the long-term treatment is very successful. So.
Well, you know, before we move on from that, I mean, we talked this morning before you came on the show about the Georgia Tech Bioengineering School. Tell us a little bit about that and your involvement there.
Well, I'm honored to be on the advisory board for the School of Biomedical Engineering at Emory and Tech.
Emory and Tech, yes.
One of the really cool things is national ratings, and they've just been advanced to the #1 position in the country. And there'll be some celebrations about that shortly. One of the really cool things is being able to go back and engage with the young people and with their youthful minds and how energetic they are at doing things. And it's a very problem-based program that teaches group work and group exercises, team building, leadership building, and it's very, very forward-thinking with its educational program with just an outstanding faculty. So it's a real privilege to be a part of that, and it's a real statement of excellence for the state of Georgia that we have programs like that.
Well, let me ask you a question. I want to back up because before we close, I just want to come back to transforming healthcare in this area, and as being a founding member of the Riverstone Medical Campus. How long have you been practicing here in Blue Ridge? How long have you been here? And when you say that this medical care facility helped transform and bring the level up in this area, what were you thinking at that time of what we needed in this area?
Well, I've been here for 26 years now. Came in 1990. I've raised 4 children, I have 2 grandchildren, and have seen this street go from an accountant's office and an old hardware store and jewelry store to what it is now. It's just a really thriving group of entrepreneurs that are just doing a bang-up job of delivering services and products to folks. Riverstone has been a dream that a group of us, Dr. Roof, Dr. Trigg, and I had way back in the 90s, mostly out of the desire to create a physical place that was real doctor-centered, doctor-driven, and collaborative. We had seen and read about things in other places. We were not real high-risk people, so the day that we signed the bank note on the land seemed like a massive undertaking. But from the day the doors opened to now, we've been in black ink, and it's been very successful. And we look back and like, why did we worry so much? But at the time, it seemed massive. It has given us the opportunity to invite really high-end specialists up to the community. We run a specialty clinic, and they can rent how many ever rooms they need for how many parts of a day that they need, so that their cost to come up is kept at a minimum, and yet they can be here and take care of patients, and then do everything here possible. That's our credo. Is we want the physicians to work well together, to communicate well together, and to do everything here possible. Now, when you got to do brain surgery or open heart surgery or heart caths, that can go to Atlanta. But we'd like for our folks to be taken care of here and to build this economy and this community. And that's really made it thrive.
Well, Dr. Tidman, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you, and I want to take a chance to just mention to the audience, this segment is brought to you by the Georgia Cancer Specialists, and I want to thank them, and I want to thank Dr. Whaley, and I want to thank Dr. Tidman, and I want to say out there, I understand that if you are looking for an area to retire, or you're looking for somewhere to raise your family, but healthcare is and should be right at the top of the list. So with the need for quality healthcare, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you taking that risk that day, knowing that this area needed to bring the level, not that we didn't before then have good doctors, not that we didn't have a good hospital, but we needed to bring the level of care up to meet what we see today in this area. And that thinking, I won't say forward thinking, okay? I'm sorry. Hey, they've ruined so many words for me. I'm trying to stay away from that, all right? But
let me lean back as you say that. So.
But that thinking in advance, that advanced thinking, future thought, whatever, we'll try to go all the way around that circle. But I want to tell you how much I appreciate that. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate that day, and I know many out there, that you guys decided to, or the ladies or whoever was involved, decided to make that decision. So we appreciate that. Now, on the heels of the Al Smith dinner last night, I want to allow all guests an opportunity to roast me, roast a friend, tell a joke, whatever. I mean, you got anything before we close?
I had a really good cartoon. I always look for something funny every day. You've got to smile in every part of your day. And it was a picture of Bernie Sanders with the typical voiceover, and he says, "No, I was not groped by Donald Trump, but I was screwed by the Clintons."
boo, boo, boo. Oh, I'm pretending to be like the elite establishment out in the crowd, the Al Smith. I got to do that. I mean, I want to give you that home effect. Dr. Tidman, I thank you so
very
much.
much.
I appreciate this segment, and I thank North Georgia Cancer Specialists, and I enjoyed it. I'm your host, BKB. Good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. Yes, that's construction in the background. What's wrong with that? Oh, that would be people working. We'll be right back. We might talk some politics after this commercial break. Again, thank you very much, and please come back soon.
Thank you.
Take a break.